up, everyone? Welcome back to the Quick Pick. Sorry we didn't get to you last week. We were slammed. We wear a lot of hats around here at the reservation. We serve on the Friday night tech crew. We're getting things ready for homecoming. We're also students. We have been slammed with the schoolwork, but it's good to be back right here inside the reservation and on the sideline for the Quick Pick.
We actually filmed a video. We actually did 2 takes last week. We weren't happy with either of them. We didn't want to put content up that we didn't feel confident in that you would like.
Thanks to my friend Jay Harris on SportsCenter for helping us out with this show. We're really enjoying it, so we're wanting to talk more football and less of the hype and everything and just get right down to the games, and that's what we're going to do. So let's recap last week, since I didn't get to see our picks, but there's a lot in sports news since Gaffney goes on the road in a region game against their rival. Tough loss to Burns, but they're back here Friday night, homecoming against Hillcrest. What do you think about that, Hart?
Let's hope that we need to get our passing game back. We dropped a lot of passes against Burns. That was probably one of the #1 things that actually hurt us against that Burns game.
62 flags on the Indians in the first 5 games of the season. Coach Jones was right in media interviews the other day when he said we need a more disciplined team on the field if we're going to win ball games. Because that really affected yardage and stuff in that Burns loss was the penalties, but I know our guys are going to turn it around. We're going to get a nice win homecoming night here inside the reservation against Hillcrest. Trevor Lawrence is now the starting quarterback.
This was a shocker.
And then 2 days later, Kelly Bryant said he's leaving. Kelly Bryant is leaving Clemson University. I don't know if you've heard that news, but Kelly Bryant is out and Trevor Lawrence is starting as of Monday. That is what Coach Sweeney said over at Clemson. Your thoughts on that?
I have to agree with Dabo. I think you do start Trevor Lawrence. He is the future, and you need to go ahead and start grooming him now. Kelly Bryant, he's not the best passer. I don't think he really fits into the Clemson offense with Trevor Lawrence right now. Good luck to him.
There's a lot of colleges out there with the, I don't know his eligibility standings right now, but I know there's a college he could sign with. Certainly a bright future. Want to wish him the best of luck. Gamecocks on the road against Kentucky. That's a dangerous Kentucky offense with Benny Snell Jr., but I think South Carolina's got the better offense. You saw Bentley and Rico Dowdle. They're playing a little bit better football against Vanderbilt.
Bentley against Vanderbilt, they put up a lot of points, but I think Bentley was still shaky. He only threw one touchdown. He had 1 interception. If you ask me, that's not a very good ball game.
I would say that. It was a little shaky for a road game, but it was a victory. However, I think South Carolina does have the defense that can stop this Kentucky offense, especially with Benny Snell Jr. He's going to be the weapon. I think he's the determining factor. If he has a lot of yards and rushing in that game, then
Kentucky's got a victory rushing game. If Carolina can shut that down, then they have a chance. But they've always struggled against Kentucky. Always.
They botched the 2-point conversion. That offensive line, he's got the first down.
He's got the first down and a whole lot more.
Let's get picking. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I like South Carolina in this game. I like Bentley. I like Dowdle. I like that South Carolina offense. I think they're going to be a little more organized this week and play a little bit better road game.
I actually have to go with Kentucky. Just looking at the past, and I know what Kentucky has now. If you look back on the videos, I've never been full faith in Bentley, and Kentucky's got a great rushing game.
Another big game this weekend, Notre Dame and Stanford. These 2 teams, they're both right up there knocking on the door for playoff when it comes to playoff.
Oregon gave them a scare last week. Stanford's defense, they're looking pretty shaky. Oregon had, I think it was like 550 yards against them. That's pretty scary. That is.
That's right.
Does have the better defense.
But Stanford does have this guy named KJ Costello, and he is a stellar leader on that offense, and I think that's the determining factor. I'm picking Stanford. I've said it all year long. I think Stanford's going to win the Pac-12, and I think we're going to see Stanford in that Final Four. If not in the Final Four, they're certainly in the conversation.
There's a funny thing about this. Whenever I was looking at the game on ESPN, I was expecting Stanford to be the favorite on their matchup indicator, but Notre Dame's actually predicted to win. It's like 60 to 30%. But I think Notre Dame's an overrated team. They struggled with weaker teams like Vanderbilt and other teams like that, but that's why I'm going to have to go with Stanford as well.
We got a big one in the Big Ten. I'm talking big one. One of these 2 teams are in talk to win the Big Ten, and they're also in talk to even make it to the playoffs. That's Penn State and Ohio State. But I have to tip my hat to Ohio State. For Urban Meyer, all that they've gone through, this team has stayed together. They keep winning. They're consistent. They're playing really good football. Hats off to them for how they responded to this situation inside the athletics office. I like Ohio State against Penn State. I like them in this ball game. I think they're going to pull out the victory and keep doing what they're doing.
I am going to have to go with Penn State. I've seen McSorley play. I know that they lost their running back, Saquon Barkley, but McSorley has really stepped up his game recently.
And Miles Sanders for Penn State. That's another guy Ohio State's going to have to watch and stop. But I think Dwayne Haskins and the rest of the Ohio State offense, I like them in this game. They're a good offensive team. You saw what they did to TCU. They're very good, no doubt. They're one of my Final Four picks. I like Ohio State in this game.
So you're right. Sanders is picking up where Saquon Barkley left off.
That's true.
He has 495 yards and 5 rushing TDs only in a few amount of weeks. So I'm going to have to go with Penn State.
Another game this week that everyone's talking about, Texas Tech. They're undefeated. They've made their way into the top 25. They're playing West Virginia. This is a Big 12 matchup. Texas Tech, and I've said it for years, they're the team that can surprise you and hand you the upset. They've done it time and again. They did it to Oklahoma State, and I think they're going to do it to West Virginia this week. If you look at the stats, the yardage, this offense is ridiculous. I think 1,500 plus passing yards for this QB. I like this Texas Tech offense. I think they're going to give West Virginia a struggle, and I think they're going to walk out with a win on Saturday.
I'm going to have to put my faith in Nick Greer, the West Virginia quarterback. He's a Heisman contender. He has many weapons on his receiving corps.
Let's talk NFL. AFC North. Who would have ever imagined that the Steelers are at the very bottom and the Browns have won a ball game? You hadn't seen that in years, have you, Hart?
Airs it out, downfield, pass is picked by Mitchell. Browns are going to win.
Sunday Night Football, it's the big rivalry in the AFC North that everyone loves to watch and talk about. Ravens, Steelers. Joe Flacco, I've talked about it weeks now. He's playing really good offense. He hasn't turned the ball over as much as he has done in recent years. And coming off that injury from a few years ago, he's healthy. He's playing good.
The most important thing about this Ravens offense is the new weapons they brought in for Joe Flacco. I know we talked about it in weeks before this, but it's so important. John Brown, Michael Crabtree, Willie Snead, they're making it easier for Joe Flacco to get the ball down the field.
Exactly. Plus, they also have a good defense, always have, ever since Ray Lewis was there. That Ravens defense is always pretty stellar, and even more so their special teams. You can never go wrong with a Justin Tucker field goal. I like Baltimore in this ball game.
Steelers defense is very weak right now at a time where Ravens offense has been the best it's ever been in years, I would say. That's why I have to go with Baltimore as well.
Thursday Night Football. Vikings at the Rams. They're out in Los Angeles. One name, and it'll just sum up my pick and everything. Todd Gurley. The man has went off for me. He's bringing in the points on my fantasy team. I love Todd Gurley. Have you seen the Rams? They have the youngest coach in the league. He's really built this program up. They're winning ball games. I like Los Angeles. They're playing a lot better football than Minnesota right now.
Minnesota, they had a very, very embarrassing loss against the Buffalo Bills, who everybody thought was like, Buffalo Bills, they're the worst team in the NFL. The Vikings were very high in the power rankings. Then they beat them like 27-6.
Same with the Packers. They go on the road to D.C., the nation's capital, and get beat badly by the Redskins. I do think that was a bad call as well on Clay Matthews. That was called Clay Matthews. Yeah, I didn't like that call.
So I don't know if that game was just a fluke. I do think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Jared Goff, but
Goff, all he's got to do is give the ball to Todd Gurley, and the game's over.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins does not have a Todd Gurley. I have to pick Los Angeles Rams. I think they're the clear pick for this game.
Same here. One final thing, since we weren't on the show last week, NFL rankings. Have you seen this? Teams that were at the bottom last year are at the top. Everything.
Nobody knows what's going on. The Patriots lost to the Lions, who were supposed to be.
The Patriots are the losing team in Boston right now. You never see that. You do have the Red Sox and the Celtics, but the Patriots are on the bottom. When the Bruins are playing better than the Patriots, there's a problem in Boston. These NFL rankings are crazy. It's going to be something we're going to have to keep our eye on throughout the season. Thanks for tuning in for today's episode of The Quick Pick. Next week, tune back in. We're going to recap everything that we just talked about, and we're also going to introduce a new segment called The Shake-Up. Don't want to miss that. We'll see you next week right here on The Quick Pick. Hey, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at GHS Indian Post, as well as YouTube for all of our videos, pictures, and footage. We hope to see you there.